moving too bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets that taught me, moving too bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets that taught me,
I'm just tryna get my nigga paid. We came from Section 8, and I knew I was at since the second grade. Man, I swear my time is coming, cause I'm never late. Came from broken homes and broken dreams to getting paid.
Dollar bill, listen close, this is not a drill. Niggas hungry trying to get a meal. I've been in light, who gon' pay a bill? I've been in action, been in traction, surplus with the
I'm about to go on live.
Okay, there's a fire in Fontana.
Oh, okay.
Okay, call it the Sierra Fire. So okay. Check on your parents.
Call my parents up. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody can hear me just fine. If you can't, let me know in the chat. If you can hear me, I hope my lights are all blinking here. As you guys know, I don't wear headphones or earbuds, so I have to rely upon the meters that are in front of me, and they're all saying that the machine can hear me, but I don't know if you guys can actually hear me. So either way, we're going to carry on. So I hope everyone's staying cool over this heated weekend from East Coast to the West Coast. I know it's been dipping just above or just below the 100s here in Southern California. So it's about get out and fly early and stay in the house the rest of the day. Like I said, I see a few folks already. Chris Wedgeworth, how you doing? Al Diaz, Lawrence Clark. Who else we got here? Jody, Drone Shots, Johnny. I saw him pop in a little while ago. Outstanding. Tonight's going to be more of a, I would say, informational night. I need to give out one of those Lawrence Clark disclaimers. All things said are not all the views of the, I don't have a panel, but are not all the views of the drone community. And I would encourage you to do your own research, come to your own conclusions. This is what the tea leaves that I'm seeing and I'm reading. So don't take everything I may say tonight as gospel or whatever else. I'm just trying to read what is happening out there as we go forward and what's going on. So that's my disclaimer right up front to see what's going on. Like I say, it's been I can't believe it's already the end of June, going into July. Last month just flew by. I don't know about for you, but for me, it was fairly busy on both sides of the fence. My regular 9-to-5 job kept me busy this past month, doing some work, and doing my own business kept me quite busy. So, like I say, this month flew by for me. So, like I said, I hope you guys are busy or trying to stay busy and going from there. But we said we got about 8 watching now. Hopefully more join in from Paul's show. It should be winding up by now. I know he ran a little long. He was trying to stay within constraints, and I appreciate that from him. But he has a wonderful show. If you guys are not tuned in to Paul Wedgenbig's show, U.S. United States Drone Society. It's a good show. Showcases a lot of people and their talent. And check it out when you want to see some beautiful work with drones. Stop by and enjoy the show. But tonight we're going to really go back to I would say the highlight or the news story of the month. One of the things I'm going to hit on right away is this individual, Mr. Adam Bry, or Bree, wherever you want to pronounce his last name, B-R-Y. He is the CEO of Skydio. And last week, he was brought in to testify before a Senate committee. And I just wanted to enlighten a few of you folks about when they do things like this, that you got to pay attention to what is actually taking place. And when I say that, it goes into when I was in the military and we did a little display of all of our weapons and all this kind of stuff and explain to people. We call it a dog and pony show. And what I saw from the Senate committee the other day, and I want to thank the people over at Drone Camps who put these last 2 videos out about the hearings. It wasn't really publicized when these hearings are taking place, what day, what time, what channel, all that kind of stuff. And they've been monitoring it pretty close. So I want to give a tip of the cap to Drone Camps. If you want to see the entire video, go over to their site and you can watch the whole Senate. Or they did a lot of editing themselves, but they did highlight what was going on. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that right away here. Let me see what we got here. We'll put that up there. Let me know if anybody can hear that. Oh, you can't hear it, Lawrence? Thank you for letting me know. Let me see if I can square it away or not. It should be coming through. If not, let me go ahead and try to correct it. We're not going to worry about it, but you guys get the idea. Go over to Drone Camps and check it out for yourselves. But what we saw here was a there are about 4 people sitting at the table for this individual besides Adam Bry. No one there from DJI, Autel, or anybody from, I would say, unobjective side of the table. Everyone there was on the same, I would say, playing field, playing on the same team. The testimony that was given was basically lock and step in what the senators were asking for. Adam Bry's testimony was basically a little chicken crying that the sky is falling. Now, I do get it that we have fallen behind as a country, but we didn't fall behind because China cheated. We didn't fall behind because, they just, get all the smart people in the world. We fell behind because our own industrial complex didn't see the value, didn't see the need to invest in especially consumer level drones, didn't think it was important to keep up with the competition. Too often, too many times, here in America, the goal for most industrial platforms, especially when we talk about anything to get a government contract, is to jump on that bandwagon. We will abandon the consumers in a heartbeat, just to get that government contract. Skydio did it. A lot of other companies who have come out since then, Brink, the manufacturers of, I think it was a Sky Eagle. Eagle makes the teal. They never even tried. Didn't even try to get into the lower levels of the industry, consumer or pro-consumer level. They didn't even try. They went straight for government contracts. And the reason why I get a little perturbed behind that is the fact that we have companies, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Grumman, host of others who have been in the military game for decades, for better part of this last century and a half. They have been the go-to aviation individuals. They have worked on NASA projects. They have worked continuously over the years developing military level type toys, So that's why it kind of baffled me that Skydio jumped ship and the rest of them never even tried to play in the consumer market, because now you're into the big boy pool. Because my thing is, what if Boeing decides to come up with something? Lockheed Martin, Grumman, those guys start to come out with something a little portable for the small unit side of things. And like I say, people like Skydio won't be able to compete again. Then what are you going to do? Mickey Muse said I'm muted. Okay. I thought somebody said they could hear me. So I'm just wondering what's going on. Maybe I'm looking at the old things. But I'll continue. But this is what I'm talking about, is that we as a country here in America have fallen behind because of our own arrogance. It's not because somebody else cheated against us. It's our own arrogance and not feeling that the consumers and pro-consumers in America were worth their time. And I'm not just talking about just drones. Those of us who are into any type of electronics, you talk about stereo systems, home theater, television, TVs. There are no more American manufacturers of none of this type of gear. Everything comes from overseas. And most of the technology is continued to be produced, comes from overseas. And I'm not just talking about out of England and other places. Primarily it comes out of China A lot of stuff gets made, put together in Malaysia and Taiwan and everything else. The computer systems we are sitting on right now that I'm streaming on, I'm using a YOLO box to stream this right here, made in China, okay? Even though the microphone I'm using here is by Rhodes, I guarantee you if I tear it apart, I'll find some Chinese parts in it, because Rhodes usually out of Australia, okay? The little small mixing board I use here, made in China, okay? The monitors that I'm looking at, watching the chat, okay? They are sold by Dell, but manufactured in China, Malaysia, and so forth. So my question always is, where does it end? Who knows? And I've said this before, that drones is low-hanging fruit. We're a small community compared to everything else. Right now, I got a leak in my LG refrigerator. Okay, the lower ice maker is dripping, making a block of ice. You got to call on a technician. He had to order a part. Parts got to come. Hopefully, they'll find a part here locally, or I might have to wait a week for it to get shipped from China. Okay, and like Mom and Drone, labor prices. That is it. That is a key factor right there, labor prices. And this is where we don't understand, or we turn a blind eye to it, that this is why a lot or most of manufacturing is done overseas now. Because of our quality of life that we have here, we have built on and strive to maintain, strive to get to, I know here in America for sure, is our quality of life. And that's the part right there. You're not going to be able to hire somebody for the labor prices they pay, even in Mexico, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, China. You're not going to be able to pay those kind of labor prices here in the United States or even other parts of the world that were the style, I would say that the level of lifestyle is a lot higher. And it's like Mom says, $20 an hour for entry-level hiring doesn't work. And we're here in California, that's what fast foods pay, $20 an hour to work at McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Popeyes, the Wiener Schnitzel, $20 an hour. That is a starting wage here in California. And pretty soon it's going to be that way across the country, just like housing is at a level that most people at my children's age will not be able to afford a home. But like I said, we're going to stay on the drone path here as far as that. So what now we have, even though we are in technically a holding pattern, this is how politics plays the game. They hold these dog and pony show hearings, but you don't invite anybody from the opposite side to explain. And though my video didn't work here and stuff, as the testimony went on, they talked about the cost factor, they talked about manufacturing, and they did sprinkle a little bit about the security. Security wasn't paramount like they've been telling us for the last 6 months or so. It was just, even out of Adam Bry's mouth, it was just the potential security threat. Not that any real threat has occurred. That's neither here or there. I understand that you don't want that potential to become a reality. I get that. But that should have been the encouragement of American manufacturers. It should have been the encouragement of our government to help our manufacturers keep pace, to be innovative, to be on par with those who we're trying to compete with on the global market. Okay? That is always my concern, is that we have allowed others to take the lead, and now we're playing scared. And always the old neighborhood theme, you guys might have heard, scared man can't win. because he'll make a mistake because he is scared. And this is where we see ourselves. We're about to make big mistakes. Now, like I say, if you want to, we know for sure, those of us who operate in the commercial sphere of things, we know for first responders, even those of us who do private commercial work, we have software here in the United States from DroneSense to isolate the drone. You do everything through DroneSense software that has been proven to work on DJI drones, Autel drones, and anybody else's drones. So we really can't say that, we can't do anything to stop the Chinese from taking control. We've been doing it for the last 5, 6, 7 years using DroneSense. So that's a false narrative in itself. So we can dispel that. But see, they didn't invite anybody else to the table who could explain that to the Senate committee, that by using American-made software on these drones prevents these drones from becoming potential security risks to our economic enemies. I won't say regular enemies, but economic enemies or economic challengers. And that's what I'm saying, that if you happen to see this is what we call a dog and pony show. That they present themselves as wanting to gather knowledge from the industry, but the only people you invite to the game are the same folks who want this ban to go through. So it does not play well as end users like all of us here. It doesn't play well to our end. When they do things like this, I encourage everyone, as you see the ticker go across the top of my screen, continue to contact your elected officials in both houses, continue to contact those in the Congress, and continue to contact those in the Senate. Because if anything, I guess I'll put it like this, the best thing that can happen for us is that each state gets to decide what they want to do and not the federal government make this call. But even then, we have to be concerned about individuals in each state making the right call. Because we've already seen 1 or 2, I think there's about 3 states who have already banned Chinese-made drones, taking those drones out of the hands of first responders already. So we know having to come back to states won't always play in our favor either. So once again, we have to be very conscious. And this is not just a right thing or a left thing. A lot of support is coming from both sides of the table. And the problem with that is most of that support is through false narrative. And like I say, politicians don't, the elected politicians don't read the information for themselves. They usually have staffers who handle this kind of stuff. So now you got to find yourself, can you get enough information to the staffers so they can get the ear of the elected officials and hopefully they can make an informed decision. That is what we want them to do. Hey, AZ, how you doing? Is it Sergio? How you doing, partner? Mickey Mew, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys. So I was saying that we want to try to make sure we get our voice out there. And I said the best what we can do now is continue to do this write-in campaign with the Drone Advocacy Alliance. Make sure we keep it up, continue to do this because, like I say, look in the rearview mirror is like having 20/20 vision. If we would have had an organized group, which is almost blasphemy in the drone community, because everybody wants to have that freedom to fly wherever, whenever they want to do. But this, when you have an organized group to where we have a speaker or someone, a voice who speaks for the mass numbers that we are, that carries the power right there. I was listening on a show the other day, and they were talking about who's speaking for the drone community in America. and someone, brought up Vic Moss's name. Vic Moss, great individual. I've met Vic Moss in person, and he is doing all the things that he can do. But I tell you how politics work, and that's not just today's politics. It is the way politics have worked in America since the founding fathers. Either you have money or you have membership. One of the two, both is excellent if you have both. Right now, the drone community has neither. We don't have an organized membership to reflect our voting block, and we don't have any money because we haven't paid any dues or sign-ups or whatever to be a part of a group, to have that voice. So like I put out a show about 2 months ago stating, are we our worst own enemies, to ourselves, because we're not organized. And I told somebody the other day on the same show, I said, the AMA, even though they have thrown the rest of the drone community under the bus, they have quietly gone about securing or re-securing airfields for the RC community. And they're acquiring more fields under this reorganization situation under the FAA. And once again, the AMA has not reached out to the drone community, have not reached out to the FPV community about anything. And that type of attitude, that type of action, just goes to show the cutthroat level that we're dealing with within our own community. So that's an issue within ourselves that we got to correct. We have to organize. We got to come together, do something so we have a stronger voice now and in the future. Without it, like I said, we're low-hanging fruit, and we're going to get picked off very easily because we have no voice that strikes a chord with anyone. I'm reading Waypoint New England's comment, DJI doesn't want their drones used in war. Adam Bry was complaining that DJI was allowing people to see the location of the drone. And this is my point right here. When you invite people, only invite people who speak what you want to hear, you're in an echo chamber. And Adam Bry, as I say, he talks about all the fear. He gives out the false narrative of what's going on with DJI drones or any Chinese-made drones. He focused on DJI, but he definitely included all Chinese-made drones. And what people don't understand, and I've written out to Bardwell and some other folks from the FPV community who were trying to hide their head in the sand and act like none of this stuff was going to affect them. I told him, I said, you can't say you wasn't warned, because I came over there 4 or 5 months back and told them, if you don't get involved, this is going to affect you. And they all kind of just gaffed me off when I reached out to them. So now this is where we're at. This is where we're at. We're in a holding pattern. We're playing the game that they're presenting to us with all the rules that they created and all the pieces that they want to move around, and we're just spectators. Wait and see, spectators. My last gripe on this whole thing is, even on YouTube, I see a bunch of, don't take this personally, Johnny, but as the old term, Johnny come latelys. I have never seen so many people put out videos on DJI band who I never even heard about. I don't know everybody in the drone community. I try to get around. But I mean, my homepage is popping up with videos, and I see these guys, and a lot of them don't have any viewers, or I check their page, and they don't even have a drone video. But they're talking about the DJI band because it's clickbait. They get views. And that kind of gets under my skin also, because we already have enough people within our community that do this kind of crap also. They use the thumbnails to basically for clickbait, and then they're putting out information that's 2 or 3 months old, acting like it just happened yesterday. So I can say, like I told people before, we got to hold ourselves accountable. I know years ago that was a dirty word, and it still is in some Facebook groups, talking about no drone policing here or whatever. And sometimes you can't fix stupid. Simple as that. And I tell people all the time, if we don't police ourselves, somebody else will. And here we are today. So when, if we don't take care of our own stuff, like I tell folks, do whatever you like to do when you fly. But when you start posting it on social media, you affect the whole community. And that's why I tell you got to be smart. Just a little bit. Common sense, as rare as it may be in our society, common sense still has to come into play, that if you know you are doing certain things that are even borderline illegal, borderline mischief activities, borderline FAA violations, it reflects on all of us. Okay? I posted my story of my little Karen involvement. I've been flying 6 years plus now, and I finally ran to a Karen, and I probably could have resolved it if the person would have just stopped and asked me a question. But they went straight to the police. And a week later, the police shows up at my house. Scaring my wife, for a bit there, until they asked her a couple of questions, and she almost started laughing in their face. But the fact that, I have all my credentials, I was there doing legal work for a legal purpose, so it became a big nothing burger. But like I said, when you're hopping the fence to go fly on private property, when you're going into areas that are posted signage that says you shouldn't be there, when we are trying to get clicks for whatever long-range event you're trying to produce, and then you post it, you affect my ability to do what I do. You affect Brent Ariel's ability to do what he does. You affect AZ Drone's ability to do what he do. You affect Joe America to do what he does. You affect everybody in the community on what we do. I was just out in Dana Point, California, Friday morning. I was out there flying with Steve Carpenter. And we parked in a parking lot, Area's Class G airspace. And I told him I'd like to fly from the parking lot as possible, just to get myself a little bit of a better viewpoint, visual line of sight of what's going on. Because I didn't want to be close to the fence line of the area that we were going to be mapping. No sooner I broke that drone out, here comes a little parking attendant for where we were parked at. Says, "Oh, drones are not allowed here." I didn't give her no guff. I just said, "Okay, not a problem." Told her what I was doing, walked across the street, still did my job. Get it done. Had a great rapport with the parking officer. When I was done, the big comment she said to me, said, "You look very professional." And that's probably one of the biggest compliments I like to hear, is I look professional. I conducted myself in a professional manner and didn't try to create an issue that didn't need to be there. So I can say, if we do things, we can have fun. For those who are hobbyists, there are a lot of places to go. You can still have fun. If you just ask for permission, you'll be surprised of the response you may get. People say, "Okay, no problem. Go right ahead." But when we talk about doing things, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to fly one battery before security shows up. That's a mindset within itself, that you are doing something you should not be doing. If you're trying to get in and get out, avoid security, all this kind of stuff. That's not the mindset we should have. I believe in being efficient and proficient in what I do, but I don't need to be running scared, worrying about if I'm going to run into a security guard or a property owner or somebody else, because I know what I'm doing is not truly authorized for me to be where I'm at any given time. So I can say it's a lot of these things I'm seeing. It's a shame. It's shameful that we are now in a holding pattern with no clear light at the end of the tunnel. But like I say, for what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, doesn't bode well. Doesn't bode well at all. And all I can do is encourage you to pay attention. I know watching C-SPAN is not the most exciting things, but you might when you go through your channels, whenever it is, online or on your cable TV system, check C-SPAN every once in a while and see what kind of Senate hearings or whatever are going on, and you might be able to catch one of these little dog and pony shows that they're putting on for public record. Because when somebody comes back and says, well, you didn't get a chance for us to express yourself, they say, yeah, we had a hearing, blah, 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 and this guy showed up and that guy showed up, but I say, you didn't invite none of us. And I always tell people, I say, if you don't invite at least somebody from the public that is gonna be, be most effective against, you have done a disservice to your constituents. And that's real shameful. And that's what they're doing to us right now. That they're just doing dog and pony shows just to fulfill the legal requirement of the process. Because anytime you have a bill that comes before, it is required for it to go through at the House level, it goes through committee, before it gets presented to the full body. Same thing at the Senate, what they're doing now, it's in committee before it gets brought before the full Senate House to vote. And that's what I'm saying. These senators are not reading this. And the slick part about it, which I told people this 3 or 4 months back, they're going to try to sneak this in under another bill. And like I say, I became gravely concerned when they slid the TikTok bill under the authorization for funding for Israel and Ukraine. And now they've done the same thing here. The NDAA Authorization Act is for our military, for the payment of our troops, and other things that need to be done for veterans' families and everything else, military housing, all this kind of stuff gets tied up in that. And this is something that nobody's going to vote no on. If you want to hold your seat in the Senate, Congress, whatever, you're not going to vote against the military. That's the quickest thing to end your political career, because they're going to hang it around your neck to say that you're anti-American. You're not a patriot because you voted against giving troops a raise. You voted against building more base housing. You voted against this and that and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I say nobody's going to vote no. So we have to, our best bet scenario would be that they would rip this part of the bill apart and basically just say, not now. We'll sit it on the table for maybe another year or two or whatever, and let us dig deeper into this and see what the outcome is going to be. But in its current form, right now, they are trying to mishmash a combination of the First Responders Act and the CCP Act. Either one of those acts by themselves kills the hobby. Plain and simple. There's nothing to speak of to give exemption for recreational flying. And it pretty much ties the hands of a lot of us commercial operators and what we're going to be able to do. So it's going to be hard for them to really pick these two different bills apart and be able to satisfy or at least allow everyone to maintain their status quo. Somebody's going to get cut off at the knees, if not everybody gets cut off at the knees. So I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I've been running my mouth for the last 40-something minutes now. I just wanted to let you know where I'm thinking at, what I'm seeing, and these are my viewpoints only. That's my disclaimer out there. As as Lawrence Clark always does on their show, got to put it out there. But this is what I'm seeing. I'm continuing to fly. I'm continuing to work because that's what I do. Until the day my drone doesn't start up again, I will continue to fly. And I encourage every one of you to continue to fly. Don't let the fear stop you from doing what you do, but also become knowledgeable so you're aware of what's going on and how it will affect you. So once again, this is Dre, Recover One Drones. I appreciate you guys coming in tonight, spend a little time with me. I believe Uncle Bill is coming up. I don't know for sure, but if he comes on here at 7, you guys enjoy. I think that's around 10 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time. But I am going to call it a night. You guys take care. See you later. Bye.